Sidewalk, we made the sidewalk a little wider, and we also changed pitches and things to get the water to flow better toward those spots. And inadvertently, it was almost inevitable that some of those flumes are gonna get damaged, and that's what happened.
So they'll be a little thicker this time, so that can't happen?
Well, I think it would happen, what we did to those sidewalks, it would have happened anyway at those points. And I will say this, it was Manny who put those flumes in, and I don't know how well you know Manny, but he's not known for, at least in my opinion, top quality.
I think part of that too is where you have those ones especially close to the street, and then you got those mowers banging over it, you know.
But that's not what actually broke them. I mean, they may have accelerated or moved the pieces around, but the brake was the other work that was done.
And who pays for that?
The old forefront. Right? Unless you guys want to pick it up, because this,
That's part of it.
I do, and then she tells, well, I'll talk to Chris. And I forget, it don't happen. Anybody else got something here?
No.
Do you have anything for us?
No, I'll, like I said, I'll let you know we'll be out there on the flumes, and as soon as I hear from Nick Shea, I'll give you a heads up. He's gonna call me, but you know, it's been every day, all day into the night, right?
I know, just let me know ahead of time. We do have number 6. We got street signs, speed limit, no parking, repairs, painting. Was that Andrew, was that you?
Yes. Okay, on Gemstone, it's been there, you know, forever. I have pictures too. As soon as you pull down Gemstone, there's a speed limit sign. I've went on every single street and seen how they place, I don't know, Lennar, somebody did. They place the speed limit sign, there's a no parking sign. Most of them are average. There's a couple of streets that are backwards, but I don't know. I can't even figure out how somebody would control that. But on Gemstone, there are 2 speed limit signs within a 3 or 4 house distance. So one of them, it's kind of obvious. My common sense goes, okay, the first one, you need to see it when you're on the street. The second one needs to be yanked out. It's on a little bitty piece of grass like yay big. I don't even know how they maneuver around mowing this little thing. But there should never be 2 speed limit signs. I've driven down every street.
I think I know what happened there. We had one speed sign that was stolen or pulled out or something, and we requested that it be replaced. And I think we may have a street that doesn't have one, because they put the second one
I think you're
on
right.
the wrong street.
Those are deep in my pictures, but there is, I think, one street that's missing.
And I think that's where it's supposed to be. I don't remember what street that is.
I could dig it up in my pictures or drive by.
Well,
drive
that's
through.
another little thing. If you can get over to Chris, possibly, we can
Okay.
have somebody out there to
Pull it out.
pull it out, maybe put it somewhere else, yeah, where it's
I
supposed
think
to be.
there's a street missing one,
Right.
actually. Okay, so email Chris on that?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Send the pictures?
Yeah, if you have a picture,
Which
fine.
one
If not, if you're,
needs to be
I
yanked
can
out?
pretty
Which
much
one?
2 speed limit signs within 30 feet.
Yeah,
of each
that's
other
easy,
on
but
Gemstone.
finding where it needs
The
to
other
go.
one's missing,
Yeah, the
so
other one.
I'll work on that.
Okay. That'll be
It's
fine.
gonna probably be on one of the Rock Ridge, Code Creek, it's gonna be on one of those
Okay,
streets that are
notes.
short.
Can't remember.
I got notes, I was writing like, how many parking signs, how many, whatever, in my own writing. though.
Yeah, one of those.
I can always ask the rover,
What
what else is he doing?
well, that he's leaving. He'll be gone in a week.
Well, yeah, that's why I should ask him tonight.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what the arrangement for that is, if there, because there was talk of not having a rover, which I thought was a bad idea.
Not having a rover?
Yeah.
Not my talk.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you. In any case, if that's all we got, we don't wanna tie you up, unless you got something else for us.
No, concrete
Lift
flumes.
station, I asked about that, the flumes. The study that's being done, I'm sure that's ongoing.
Yeah, they won't be finished with that until December.
I haven't been out there yet, and with, we have enough rain, so I'm sure the orifice is working. It's gotta be flowing.
Oh, yeah, you should say it'd be shot.
Is it doing really well? I gotta get out there, because, I mean, the rain we've gotten, our lakes are
Are
up there.
very full, and I figured they were up to that slot
Yeah, they're up
because
to
they're
that
so
slot. They
high.
have to be.
In addition to that, I think it looks great, I meant to mention this, I'm glad you brought that up, that the canal exiting, great job, looks much better. I don't see where water, I didn't walk the thing, but I don't see where water's coming off the FBL property into
Yeah,
us
we
anymore.
put a mild berm up
Yeah,
on
I
the
saw it.
side.
I'm not walking tonight, just because
Okay.
I've been
See-
walking through this stuff all day.
Down at the end, close to us, water used to drain off FBL into that canal, or trench or whatever you want to
Yes.
call it. And I assume that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, it was also kind of funny because right when you came over the weir, there was an elevated area there, so
Mhm.
when the
Water
water
was
would
trapped
start
there.
to spill out, it would
Yeah.
circulate, and it would keep the water from draining.
Well, it was never really, there was, I mean, I remember before when we were getting a lot of water, we'd go and I'd move rocks just because there was like almost like dam barriers in there.
Yeah, that's all been
And,
trenched out, and it's got stone along
I'm
there.
gonna go out there tonight.
It had caved in spots, so therefore the water had trouble, getting up and
I'm
over.
gonna go over there tonight.
And I noticed also, I did have a question about that quickly. On the other side of Gateway Boulevard, I see that trench is full of water too, and it looks like they're full all the way down. So obviously they have a water control somewhere
There's no water control till you get to Gateway Greens in the back on the two waters there.
But that
Can you open
hidden
those?
links over here, that water's high
Can you
right
open
there.
them?
Oh, yeah, that water in Hidden Lakes, we did the same thing, that Hidden Lakes canal, if you remember you drove by there.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
it's
a
all
little
same
ditch.
thing, right. But
We
that
opened
thing's
it.
full of water right now, it really is. A lot of times it's dry, or has hardly anything in it at all.
Do you guys have the ability to release water? Or right now, is it just, are you guys holding water back right now or no?
We are holding this just at the set elevation, and the only time you can open it up and drain water is if the water management district authorizes it with an upcoming storm event.
Okay.
Try to anticipate, how far along ahead of time do they allow you to do that?
3-4 days.
Because I know the flow rate is such, it takes a while to drain, really get it down much. Yeah.
That's why I was gonna go over there to see if it's actually really flowing at all.
Oh, it's flowing.
Is it flowing?
It was yesterday.
It was
There's
yesterday?
a lot of water
Well, we got a lot of rain
coming
today
out.
too. Did we get a lot of rain today?
It rained a bit this morning.
Well, I got a lot of rain out there.
Yesterday
Okay.
was a lot.
But it's probably again today, it's been every day. All right, so that, I just wanted to say, it looked good, that turned out good, it really did, and we do appreciate
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's.
And they opened that slot up and whatnot.
Yeah, the only thing we haven't finished, because we're doing that at the same time we do Hampton Park, is put the buffer in front of it.
Oh, yeah.
Have a
buffer,
baffle
yeah,
out
yeah.
front of it to keep crap from
Building up.
stopping up that orifice.
Yeah.
Stop, it keeps the turtles out.
Yeah, just, goes out in front of it and sit there, so,
It actually helps make it flow better too, doesn't it?
to some extent, but, keeps the trash out of it, and it's easier.
Cause I know every time when I would go and rake it, what I call raking, even though there was nothing there to rake, once I got some air through that, it did flow quicker. It's just for something like almost like a back pressure type thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir. See you later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out there tonight and take some pictures up, I post them.
All right, so we talked about that one speed sign. As far as repairs and those signs, I know that you don't like that one stop sign by the clubhouse, and I can't argue with that, it is kind of,
It's on my list. I'll
Yeah.
just give him the whole list and he can.
well, yeah, that's something.
I
we
think all
probably
the no
would-
parking signs are all up, right? Those are all installed, I believe.
I believe so. Also, we are going to be putting a no parking, towing sign, at the entry by the gatehouse. And when you come in, so.
So is that been approved by the board? I mean, not by the district board?
Yeah, district is aware of that, yeah. And in fact, I think that Red Towing provides it. They have the legal wording on it.
They
We'll
give-
double check.
You have to have the legal wording on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
by
I think
law.
you have to have the, name of the record company on a sign.
Yeah, oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
sign has wording on it.
Yeah,
It's-
That's probably why they're providing it.
715
Yeah.
something has all the information, I couldn't believe all the stuff that,
The only thing I'm not
And
happy.
if you don't have like that,
Uh-huh.
good luck trying to tow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or if your car does get towed and doesn't have it, you can find it.
And just for this committee, but it'll be public, but nobody listens. There was some concern at one of the meetings, the first board meeting, I did get into a discussion with Andy about giving people warning and a heads up, and you were there, you heard it, I'm sure. He doesn't think we should even have to just start towing. I said, no, we can't operate like that. We gotta let people know times are changing and it's gonna happen. And he wanted to do it all 24 hours a day, and I don't agree with that. This is gonna be a board decision, and we stood there, both Andy and myself, assured the board of supervisors that we wouldn't be that aggressive. Ed Tinkle brought up that in Gateway Greens after midnight, anything on the road gets towed. And I don't even wanna be
Olympia
that
Point, I
aggressive.
understand, does the same thing.
Which one?
Olympia Point,
Oh, do they? I think Sherwood does too.
yeah, after midnight, if it's on the roadway, it's gone.
It's.
Oh, you know who else does that? Stoneybrook Villas.
I would, yeah,
Or if you even have a motorcycle in a parking spot.
Oh, the villages, you mean?
Yeah, the villages,
oh,
across the street from us.
yeah.
Okay,
You
that's
can have a
interesting.
motorcycle in your parking spot, because you're not supposed to have bikes in there, they'll tow the bike.
Wow. Well, let me say this, that this is a board decision and how aggressive they want to be, but I'm on the side, personally speaking for myself, of being somewhat approaching this gradually. Go after the worst offenders. I know there's always the issue, that's what Andy brought up, unequal enforcement of the rules, but I don't necessarily agree that's true. And the fact is that if the people who are out there all the time, or you can argue, well, that's, we found, because they're out there all the time. And I think once the word is out there, because there are people still out there who say, oh, no, they can't tell us we can't park, they'll find out that's not true. And when that happens, I believe that will probably go away.
There's a lot of people that believe fake news, I guess.
Yeah, well, they go down there and argue with the towing people and see how far they get.
So this
Yeah.
doesn't need to be listed in our rules and regulations that were just covered at the HOA meeting?
Well, it'll probably be in the email
I'll
now,
hope it- I'll
probably
hope
in the
it's
scoop.
emailed
Yeah, well, I insisted that
It has to be notified.
And it should be in the scoop, and,
But is it in the rules and regulations that were just covered? Not at all, it's not
You
even.
gotta remember,
talked
this is Gateway
So
Services
CBD
rule.
not-
about? Okay, sorry.
They're the ones that
Okay.
enforce it,
We
they're
are-
the ones that enforce the no parking.
we are acting as their agent.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay?
That was the thing with the
Like when
original
people,
resolution.
when
Original
people say, you
resolution,
know,
they had them doing everything.
I got this
And-
fake ticket on my car tonight, you know,
Right.
that's worth the paper it's written on. The only thing that says in the paper, cause this is when I was president, when we wrote it this way, is per Gateway Services rules, no street parking.
Right.
Pretty much, we wrote it on that just to let people know, hey, you're not supposed to street park. We can't enforce it, we can't take it, but the problem is, I wanted to cover our butt. Because I don't ever want anything to happen and say, well, the HOA never told us we couldn't park.
There'll still be people said that, won't say that.
So those tickets, or is the HOA covering their butt?
Yeah, exactly, and I try to explain that to Andy, and it was.
Well, I think it's gonna be critical to start, and I would recommend to the board that once that comes out and says, okay, we're gonna start towing, that all the parking tickets you had prior to that time are dumped, and you start fresh. Because I would hate to see them grandfather a whole bunch of parking stuff. Because to me, that creates some of the stuff we've discussed in the past of selective enforcement, and we have to be careful not to have any kind of selective enforcement.
I'm not sure I agree with that, Warren, under the premise that all these parking notifications that are in their file,
They're all warnings.
they're warnings. And if this person
They need to be
is
documented.
ignoring those warnings, then,
Well,
And there could be 10 warnings in someone's,
Yeah,
someone's
and there
folder.
is.
They're, you know,
and I'm gonna tell you another thing. That's, I know things may have changed, but there was a time when I was president and had to say about who was gonna get re-renting, allowed to rent again. I used to look at those, and if this person had a lot of warnings for, parking in the street, that was a reason that we didn't renew.
well, I think this is gonna be a big change. It's going to be enforced, because you know that's gonna happen. And right now, you hear no talk about it at all, so as soon as it comes out, you're gonna see a flurry,
Yeah.
then it'll die out. But I really think that all these other parking tickets that they've already received should not be grandfathered into towing. Now, you might say, well, he's always done this, but, you know, how many parking tickets does the person have to get before he's towed?
Well, that's not gonna be the case.
It's gonna be up to the board.
It's gonna be up to the board.
Yeah, well,
Your
that's what
parking-
I'm saying, oh, what kind of number are they gonna use?
It's more to protect the board. That's what
Yeah.
it's about in the
Yeah.
community.
Well, I think that, like we, I think it's just, needs to be, you know, as open as it can be.
Oh, absolutely.
Some people are saying, well, we should put out, you know, they're not gonna enforce it on Christmas, not gonna enforce it on this, and all that. And I don't think we can do that, because now you're gonna open it up for people who want to have, well, I've got a graduation party and I got 20 people coming, so would you please not tow any cars? We're gonna end up with that, and then you're gonna tow somebody else on another street, and you're gonna end up with a problem. I think the more problems you can avoid, the more, the better off it's gonna be accepted. That's the whole thing is, you know.
I understand what you're
You
saying.
can do a lot of stuff, but if you,
I will say this, Warren, that's gonna be a discussion probably to have with the board, rather than us.
That's gonna be a long discussion too, I'm sure.
well, as soon as it comes out, I think there'll be a few people that, because you know it's gonna come out saying, hey, you can't do this, you know, it's in the Gateway Sun, you can't tow us, you can't do this, you
Gateway
can't do
Sun,
that.
I think
You know?
set anyway, it's done. But I will say this, that there, I can think of a half a dozen people that are gonna be voting and voting right away in the Facebook site, but. You know, as far as from a legal standpoint, they're wrong. Anybody who thinks that
Oh.
it can't happen, they're wrong.
And they've only, in the last year or so, is they've just reinforced it more with the, board action they've taken.
Well,
to verify everything.
Yeah, unfortunately, this strict enforcement's come around because of a few buttheads who
Yeah,
forced
well,
the issue.
You tow if you end up towing a half a dozen cars, that's gonna be a lot.
You tow
Because the
two
first
cars,
first
it's
two
gonna
you
be a
tow
lot.
is gonna be, the word's gonna be out.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything? Let's see, there's no audience, so we're good there. Committee requests. Anybody have a request? Are we good? I'll take a motion. All right, next meeting, September 11th. I can make that one. I'm gonna be out of town for about 3 weeks, but I'll be leaving on the 13th, so I'll be there for that one. Anybody? Everybody good with that?
September 11th.
That's none-
That's a day before.
9/11.
That's a day before Gator season starts, so I'll be there.
All right, so if you get one, you're gonna bring it home and,
I might not even have to bring it home. I might just get the one in my backyard.
And just to let you know, in the scoop, it was posted incorrectly, that this meeting is next week, so I don't know who's in charge
Hey,
of
I'm
telling them.
serious. I didn't know today was the meeting.
You looked at the scoop?
I had I had no plans because it usually falls on my office meeting. I usually have my office meeting Wednesday and then this is the next day, but because the way there's so many Wednesdays this month.
there was
Delayed.
something about the Board of
The board.
Supervisor meetings, and that's why it was moved to the first Wednesday instead of the second Wednesday. But you're right, usually.
It's always, it falls on, so I always know, and that's, and
So how do they get their information? Cause it's wrong in the scoop?
well, it's probably because they knew it was always the second Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, number one. Number two is that they gotta take time to look at the minutes from the last meeting, but sometimes we don't get them in time because we don't have them ourselves. But I did forward the minutes that were approved. Last month, we did approve 3 sets of minutes. And,
We're just talking about that.
and I did forward them to Shannon, and I don't know, and you know another problem? I don't know why, but Andy doesn't make a,
Line
on
out
the
of
agenda.
I know, you
for-
should. In fact, I was gonna just bring that up.
So therefore, we don't even get a chance to discuss it.
I was actually gonna bring that up.
I mean, you're welcome to talk about it if you want, I don't have to be the
No,
one, I
no.
don't care.
So it needs to be on. the
We just need to be
board.
on our agenda, just to let people know this is what, like,
What's
what I would
that?
do is I would come in and
Well,
talk
it used
about, we
to
talked
be.
about landscaping, we talked about, and then you guys are always there, so you guys can back me up on if I forgot anything, just like we did with Joe.
When did it stop going on the agenda?
I would say probably.
As soon as
when-
Andy was
when-
president. As soon as Andy was president, it never
Well,
happened
the
again.
thing is as soon as you left too. I was
So-
gonna say-
Yeah,
I
that's
was gonna
when
say
Andy
when
was
you-
president. Well, when I left, there was new board, and then the new board voted Andy to be president.
So
That's
as
not-
chairman, vice chairman, if you
As
either
vice
tell the
president and vice
cam,
chair.
so
I-
one
we
of
can-
you need
I
to
can get it
tell-
back on there, all I gotta do is just say, put it back on there.
So if it's on the agenda, then the cam will know to put it in scoop correct.
Well, it will be on the agenda, but it has nothing to do with the scoop. That's just, we'll just have to let them know
Unless they're
what days
putting
it is.
minutes of the meeting in the scoop, I don't know if they are.
They are.
Move for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
You said you had a name on the phone.
Aye.
All right, so for the record,
Hold on, let me go turn this off.
I'm gonna make a record right now. That was
Okay.
Warren that made the motion to adjourn, and it was
JT,
JT that seconded the motion to adjourn. The next meeting will be on the 11th of September, 9/11. Take care.